Shalom Aleichem, peace be unto you. This video is about the biblical calendar and its aspects and characteristics. Before we start, let me read two passages. The first passage is from Enoch chapter 93, verses 9 to 10. And after that, in the 7th week, shall an apostate generation arise, and many shall be its deeds, and all its deeds shall be apostate. And at its close shall be elected the elect righteous of the eternal plan of righteousness, to receive sevenfold instruction concerning all his creation. And I believe that we are this generation. The 7th week. I mean, come on, all over the world, there's an apostate generation. All its deeds are apostate. I don't have the time to list all the apostate deeds and all the wickedness in the world. But on the other side, we all went through the so-called awakening with the biblical cosmology. We received sevenfold instruction concerning all his creation, and the biblical calendar is the next step in this movement. When I first received my personal copy of the complete Dead Sea Scrolls in English, you won't believe which passage I came across when I opened it the first time. During that time, I did not understand the true biblical calendar and prayed for wisdom. This passage gave me courage that I was on the right track. Let me read that passage. An account of David's poems. David, son of Jesse, was wise and brilliant, like the light of the sun. He was a scribe, intelligent and perfect in all his ways before Elohim and man. Yahuwah gave him an intelligent and brilliant spirit, and he wrote 3,600 psalms and 364 songs to sing before the altar for the daily perpetual sacrifice, for all the days of the year, and 52 songs for the Sabbath offerings, and 30 songs for the new moons, for feast days, and for the Day of Atonement. In all, the songs which he uttered were 464, and 4 songs to make music on behalf of those stricken by evil spirits. In all, there were 4,050. All these he uttered through prophecy, which was given him from before the Most High, Elyown. There are many false conceptions about what is a true calendar. Those of you who follow a lunar-based calendar must be aware of the fact that this lunar-based calendar is 10 days shorter than the true solar calendar of 364 days. That means after a certain time, a 13th month is added to prevent shifting of the seasons. Furthermore, those of you who say that the lunar-based calendar is the true system, did you know that this system comes from Babylon? Did you know that there is a month called Tammuz, which is referring to a Babylonian pagan deity? How can this be a divine-based calendar system? On the other side, we all know that the Gregorian calendar is satanic, pagan, and simply wrong. You need a calendar that incorporates the sun, the moon, and the stars, as stated in Genesis chapter 1. The so-called Qumran Calendar does fulfill these requirements and has a pure scriptural basis. This video serves as an introduction and only touches the surface of many interesting topics. More videos regarding this series will follow soon. This video is dedicated to Bradley and Melissa, my beloved brother and sister in Yahushua. Furthermore, it is dedicated to an unknown brother called Sean. May this video help you to understand the true calendar that was established by Elohim from the beginning. Last but not least, I want to mention my brother Alan Schitz, who studied this calendar for almost 3 decades. He helped me out with so much wisdom provided by the Ruwach HaQodesh. A last point before we begin with the courses of the sun according to Enoch chapter 72. You may wonder why the year starts on the 4th day of the week. This is because there was neither sun, nor moon, nor stars, nor the firmament before the 4th creation day. This is the day when the reckoning of time began. Also the seasons began on that day. I hope this becomes clear after this introduction. On the lower part of the image you will see a box that states day 10 parts, night 8 parts. This is because the true reckoning of time does not use hours nor seconds. Hours stem from Egypt, seconds from Babylon. Elohim wants us to use our senses to observe his appointed times and signs. In his reckoning of time, a day, called Yom in Hebrew, consists of an evening and a morning. A complete Yom has 18 parts. This is stated in Enoch and also found in the book of Jasher regarding the passage about Yahushua, the successor of Moshe, commanding the moon and the sun to stand still. And they stand still for 36 moments or parts, which accounts for 2 days, or Yomim, which is the Hebrew plural form of Yom, meaning days. Furthermore, there are 6 portals or gates that the sun rises and sets at certain times of the year. Every year starts with the sun rising from the 4th portal in the east and setting in the 4th portal in the west for 30 mornings. That is why the duration of a morning, which is the portion of the time when the sun is visible, gets longer during spring and summertime and shorter in the autumn and winter time. The 4 intercalary days are on the 31st day of the 3rd, 6th, 9th and 12th month, representing the summer solstice, when the days are starting to get shorter and the night longer, the autumnal equinox, when the daytime and nighttime are equal, the winter solstice, when days get longer and nighttime shorter, and the vernal or also called spring equinox, when daytime and nighttime is equal. Let's move over to the courses of the sun, according to Enoch chapter 72. In the book of Enoch, chapter 72, starting at verse 6, we read, "In this way he rises in the 1st month, in the great portal, which is the 4th of those 6 portals in the cast. And in that 4th portal, from which the sun rises, in the 1st month, are 12 window openings, from which proceed a flame when they are opened in their season. When the sun rises in the heaven, he comes forth through that 4th portal 30 mornings in succession, and sets accurately in the 4th portal in the west of the heaven. And during this period, the day becomes daily longer, and the night nightly shorter, to the 30th morning. On that day, the day is longer than the night by a 9th part, and the day amounts exactly to 10 parts, and the night to 8 parts. And the sun rises from that 4th portal, and sets in the 4th, and returns to the 5th portal of the east 30 mornings, and rises from it, and sets in the 5th portal. And then the day becomes longer by 2 parts, and amounts to 11 parts, and the night becomes shorter and amounts to 7 parts. And it returns to the east, and enters into the 6th portal, and rises and sets in the 6th portal 1 and 30 mornings, on account of its sign. On that day, the day becomes longer than the night, and the day becomes double the night, and the day becomes 12 parts, and the night is shortened, and becomes 6 parts. And the sun mounts up to make the day shorter and the night longer, and the sun returns to the east, and enters into the 6th portal, and rises from it, and sets 30 mornings. And when 30 mornings are accomplished, the day decreases by exactly 1 part, and becomes 11 parts, and the night 7. And the sun goes forth from that 6th portal in the west, and goes to the east, and rises in the 5th portal for 30 mornings, and sets in the west again in the 5th western portal. On that day, the day decreases by 2 parts, and amounts to 10 parts, and the night to 8 parts. And the sun goeth forth from that fifth portal, and sets in the fifth portal of the west, and rises in the fourth portal for 31 mornings on account of its sign, and sets in the west. On that day, the day is equalized with the night, and becomes of equal length, and the night amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts. And the sun rises from that portal and sets in the west, and returns to the east and rises 30 mornings in the third portal, and sets in the west in the third portal. And on that day the night becomes longer than the day, and night becomes longer than night, and day shorter than day, till the 30th morning. And the night amounts exactly to 10 parts, and the day to 8 parts. And the sun rises from that third portal, and sets in the third portal in the west, and returns to the east. And for 30 morning rises in the second portal in the east, and in like manner sets in the second portal in the west of the heaven. And on that day the night amounts to 11 parts, and the day to 7 parts. And the sun rises on that day from that second portal, and sets in the west in the second portal, and returns to the east into the first portal for 31 mornings, and sets in the first portal in the west of the heaven. And on that day the night becomes longer and amounts to the double of the day, and the night amounts exactly to 12 parts, and the day to 6. And the sun has therewith traversed the divisions of his orbit, and turns again on those divisions of his orbit, and enters that portal 30 mornings, and sets also in the west opposite to it. And on that night has the night decreased in length by a 9th part, and the night has become 11 parts, and the day 7 parts. And the sun has returned and entered into the second portal in the east, and returns on those his divisions of his orbit for 30 mornings, rising and setting. And on that day the night decreases in length, and the night amounts to 10 parts, and the day to 8. And on that day the sun rises from that portal, and sets in the west, and returns to the east, and rises in the third portal for 31 mornings, and sets in the west of the heaven. On that day the night decreases and amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts. And the night is equal to the day, and the year is exactly as to its days, 364. Let's move over to the so-called lunar cycles. A lunar year consists of a repetitive pattern of 29 and 30 days lunar month. A lunar year is 10 days shorter than a solar year, which has 364 days. This is by design and leads to so-called lunar cycles. There are 3 lunar cycles aligning with the solar calendar after every 3rd lunar cycle. A lunar month starts with a full moon and ends the day before the next full moon. Hence, the monthly lunar cycle consists of a full moon, a waning moon, meaning a decreasing moon, a dark/new moon, a waxing moon, meaning an increasing moon, and a full moon. In our case, the first lunar month in the first lunar cycle begins on the first day of the first solar month. It consists of 29 days and hence ends on the 29th solar day of the first solar month. The Qumran document called Mishmarot A says that there is full moon on the 4th day in the week of the sons of Gamul in the 1st month of the first year, on the 5th day in the week of Jediah, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 30th day of the first solar month. It may confuse you in the beginning what is meant by "in the week of the sons of Gamul." The Qumran documents reveal that the biblical calendar included the priestly divisions of the priests, as laid out in 1 Chronicles chapter 24. In our example, the sons of Gamul were introduced on the previous Sabbath. The week of the sons of Gamul started on the 29th day of the 12 solar months of the previous year, and ends on the 3rd day of the 1st month of the current solar year. On the 4th day of the 1st month, the next priest is introduced, whose week starts on the 5th day of the 1st solar month and ends on the 10th day of the 1st solar month. This pattern repeats 52 times over the year according to the 52 weeks of the year. Let's move over to the next Qumran document, which reveals when the date of the first visible silver of a waxen crescent is visible. Note, the translators of the Dead Sea Scrolls mistranslated the word, which is translated here as new moon. The text actually describes the first visible silver of a waxing crescent immediately after a new or dark moon. In Mishmarot B, we read, "And the new moon is on the 6th day in the week of Yakim, which is on the 17th day in the 1st month. There is full moon on the Sabbath in the week of Hakos, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 30th of the 2nd solar month. And the new moon is on the 1st day in the week of Hezir, which is on the 17th day in it. There is full moon on the 1st day in the week of Eliashib, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 29th day in the 3rd solar month. Information regarding the first visible silver of a waxen crescent is missing for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th month of the first lunar cycle. But the monthly moon cycles follow a simple repetitive pattern. That means the first visible silver of a waxing crescent is on the 16th day of the 3rd solar month. There is full moon on the 3rd day in the week of Bilgah, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 28th day in the 4th solar month. The first visible silver of a waxing crescent is on the 15th day of the 4th solar month. There is full moon on the 4th day in the week of Pitaya, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 27th day in the 5th solar month. The first visible silver of a waxing crescent is on the 14th of the 5th solar month. There is full moon on the 6th day in the week of Deliah, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 27th day in the 6th solar month. The first visible silver of a waxing crescent is on the 14th day of the 6th solar month. There is full moon on the Sabbath in the week of Sheorim, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 25th day in the 7th solar month. This is the first month where we again have information regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent. In Mishmarot B, we read, "And the new moon is on the 1st day in the week of Jediah, which is on the 12th day in it, which is the 7th solar month. There is full moon on the 2nd day in the week of Abaya, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 25th day in the 8th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 3rd day in the week of Miyamin, which is on the 12th day in the 8th month. There is full moon on the 3rd day in the week of Yakim, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 24th day in the 9th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 4th day in Shekania, which is on the 11th day in the 9th solar month. There is full moon on the 5th day in the week of Immer, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 23rd day in the 10th solar month. Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 6th day in the week of Yeshabeab, which is on the 10th day in the 10th solar month. There is full moon on the 6th day in the week of Yechezkel, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 22nd day in the 11th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on Sabbath in the week of Petaya, which is on the 9th day in the 11th month. There is full moon on the 1st day in the week of Yearib, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 22nd day in the 12th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 2nd day in the week of Deliah, which is on the 9th day in the 12th solar month." The first year of the lunar cycle began on the 1st day of the 1st solar month, and the first year of the lunar cycle ended on the 21st day of the 12th solar month. The second lunar cycle begins with the 22nd day of the 12th month from the previous solar year and concludes with the 11th day of the 12th solar month. In the 1st month, there is full moon on the 2nd day in the week of Malkiah, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 20th day in the 1st solar month. Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 3rd day in the week of Harim, which is on the 7th day in the 1st solar month. There is full moon on the 4th day in the week of Yeshua, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 20th day in the 2nd solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 5th day in the week of Hakos, which is on the 9th day in the 2nd solar month." Note, the 9th day should actually read the 7th day, because it says the 5th day, there is the new moon, the 5th day in the week of Hakos, so it cannot be the 9th day in the 2nd month. This may be a mistranslation of the passage. There is full moon on the 5th day in the week of Hupa, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 19th day in the 3rd solar month. Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 6th day in the week of Eliashib, which is on the 6th day in the 3rd solar month. There is full moon on the Sabbath in the week of Pisces, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 18th day in the 4th month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 1st day in the week of Immer, which is on the 5th day in the 4th solar month. There is full moon on the 1st day in Gamul, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 17th day in the 5th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 2nd day in the week of Yechezkel, which is on the 4th day in the 5th month. There is full moon on the 3rd day in the week of Jedaiah, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 17th day in the 6th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 4th day in the week of Mauziah, which is on the 4th day in the 6th solar month. There is full moon on the 4th day in the week of Miyamin, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 15th day in the 7th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent, we read, "And the new moon is on the 5th day in the week of Sheorim, which is on the 2nd day in the 7th solar month. There is full moon on the 6th day in Shechaniah, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 15th day in the 8th solar month. Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the Sabbath in Abia, which is on the 2nd day in the 8th month. There is full moon on the Sabbath in the week of Bilgah, corresponding to the 29th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 14th day in the 9th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 1st day in the 9th month, and the second new moon is on the 3rd day in the week of Hezir, which is on the 31st day in the 9th solar month. There is full moon on the 2nd day in the week of Petaya, corresponding to the 30th day of the lunar month, which falls on the 13th day in the 10th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 4th day in the week of Yachin, which is on the 29th day in the 10th solar month. There is full moon on the 3rd day in the week of Delaya, which is on the 12th day in the 11th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 6th day in the week of Yorib, which is on the 29th day in the 11th solar month. There is full moon on the 5th day in the week of Harim, which is on the 12th day of the 12th solar month." Here we see that the second lunar cycle ends on the 11th day of the 12th solar month. Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the Sabbath in the week of Miyamin, which is on the 28th day in the 12th solar month." The second lunar cycle began with the 22nd day of the 12th month from the previous solar year and ended with the 11th day of the 12th month. The third lunar cycle begins with the 12th day of the 12th month from the previous solar year and ends with the first day of the 12th month. Regarding the full moon on the first month of the third lunar cycle we read, "The 3rd year, the 1st month, on the 6th day in the week of Hakos, which is on the 10th day in the 1st month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 2nd day in the week of Shechaniah, which is on the 27th day in the 1st month. There is full moon on the 1st day in the week of Yakim, which is on the 10th day in the 2nd solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 3rd day in the week of Yeshibeab, which is on the 26th day in the 2nd solar month. There is full moon on the 2nd day in the week of Immer, which is on the 9th day in the 3rd solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 5th day in the week of Pisces, which is on the 26th day in the 3rd month. There is full moon on the 4th day in the week of Yechezkel, which is on the 8th day in the 4th month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 6th day in the week of Gamul, which is on the 24th day in the 4th solar month. There is full moon on the 5th day in the week of Meoziah, which is on the 7th day in the 5th month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 1st day in the week of Harim, which is on the 24th day in the 5th month. There is full moon on the Sabbath in the week of Malkiah, which is on the 7th day of the 6th month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 2nd day in the week of Hakos, which is on the 23rd day in the 6th solar month. There is full moon on the 1st day in the week of Yeshua, which is on the 5th day in the 7th month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, "And the new moon is on the 4th day in the week of Eliashib, which is on the 22nd day in the 7th solar month. There is full moon on the 3rd day in the week of Huppah, which is on the 5th day in the 8th solar month." Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, And the new moon is on the 5th day in the week of Bilga, which is on the 21st day in the 8th solar month. There is full moon on the 4th day in the week of Hezir, which is on the 4th day in the 9th solar month. Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, and the new moon is on the Sabbath in the week of Yechezkel, which is on the 21st day in the 9th solar month. There is full moon on the 6th day in the week of Yachin, which is on the 3rd day in the 10th solar month. Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, and the new moon is on the 1st day in the week of Messiah, which is on the 19th day in the 10th solar month. There is full moon on the Sabbath in the week of Jediah, which is on the 2nd day in the 11th solar month. Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, and the new moon is on the 3rd day in Sheorim, which is on the 19th day in the 11th month of the solar year. There is full moon in the 2nd day in the week of Miamin, which is on the 2nd day in the 12th solar month. Regarding the first visible silver of a waxing crescent we read, and the new moon is on the 4th day in the week of Abaya, which is on the 18th day in the 12th solar month. In the beginning I mentioned that the lunar calendar is exactly 10 days shorter than the solar calendar. That is also mentioned in the book of Enoch and the book of Jubilees. Elohim designed this so that after 3 solar years, the lunar calendar is exactly 30 solar days deficient. A consequence of this occurrence is that the lunar cycles realign with the solar calendar without any intercalation required. That means there will be a full moon on the 1st day of Abib, the 1st day of the 1st month of the upcoming year. The lunar cycles are in effect since creation day 4, and they are still applicable to this day, as we will see in the next section, which deals with the reconciliation of the Gregorian calendar with the biblical Enochian Qumran calendar. This specific topic will be addressed in the next video. May the Father, Elyown, the Most High, bless you and protect you by the most precious blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, our Messiah, and His only begotten Son. Amen.